Hi there, I'm Nathan Gorton, the Government Affairs Director for your Washington Association of Realtors. Wanted to give you an update now that the Washington State Legislature has adjourned for the year. We went into this year knowing that Washington State was in last place in the country, 50th place in the number of housing units per family. And we have seen the impacts of that all over our state, from a lack of first-time homebuyer opportunities to a lack of move-down opportunities for our senior buyers, to frankly the homelessness issues that we are grappling with in every single community across the state. So we went into this session asking the legislature to make this year the year of housing. And you know, now that the curtain is kind of fallen, I think that they really did an excellent job on making this year the year of housing. I want to walk through a number of bills that the legislature pushed, and of course you can find more information about all of these bills on Washington Realtors' website. So before we get to housing policy, let's talk quickly about two brokerage issues that will impact you and your buyers and your sellers. First is leasebacks and getting leasebacks exempted from the Landlord-Tenant Act. This is a really big deal, and the legislature passed a bill that said that leasebacks are exempted from the Landlord-Tenant Act under two conditions. One, that the written leaseback agreement is less than 3 months, and two, that the person entering into the leaseback agreement, i.e. the seller, is represented by either a realtor or an attorney. So that's a big deal. We're excited about that bill. Also, the legislature passed Real Estate Agency Act, updating real estate agency. What this bill will do takes effect January 1, 2024, so there'll be lots of education between now and then. But it will require that buyers sign a buyer's agency agreement that lays out what the commission is and where that commission is coming from. We've talked to lots of states who've put this in place. They've all told us that in 99% of transactions, that commission is still coming out of the proceeds of sale, like what is pretty typical now. But a little bit more transparency for the consumer. We think that's important. That transparency for the consumer is also providing some protection for our brokerages. So we're excited about that bill. Now let's dive into housing policy. The legislature passed probably 7 or 8 pretty big housing policy bills. I'm going to touch on a few of them right now. The bill that got the most ink is the missing middle housing bill. What that bill does is for communities of 25,000 to 75,000, it requires that they allow duplexes in single-family residences if the developer wants to build it. Again, nobody is forcing anybody to build duplexes in this bill. Nobody is forcing anybody to do anything. It's if this pencils out for the developer, then the local jurisdiction has to allow it. Those duplexes can go up to fourplexes if one of those units is affordable at 60% AMI. For cities above 75,000, requires local jurisdictions to allow fourplexes on single-family lots. Again, if the developer chooses to do that, and up to 6plexes if 2 of the units are affordable. Now, this is somewhat of a controversial bill because this is the state starting to exert some power over zoning, which has mostly been a local decision up till this point. Ultimately, our legislative committee, made up of realtors all across the country, decided that this was the right move to get more first-time homeowner opportunities, to get more of those move-down opportunities as well, and to really create a marketplace that is a little bit fairer for those people who want to become homeowners. Let's talk, though, about a bill that didn't get as much ink, but I think has probably even more impact. That's the Accessory Dwelling Unit Bill. There was a bill passed that will require all jurisdictions within GMA counties to allow 2 accessory dwelling units with a minimum of 1,000 square feet per lot. They can be attached, they can be detached, one can be attached, one can be detached. There's any kind of variety that you can do on these. And that bill is going to take effect here 90 days after the governor signs it. So that's really exciting. I think it's a real good opportunity for current homeowners to build that accessory dwelling unit. I think it's a good opportunity for people who want to be homeowners to maybe have a little bit of an income producing property that may help them get into that home. So I think that's a really, really exciting bill. Another bill that's going to have a lot of impact, may take a little longer, is our condo townhome bill. This is something we've been working on for a number of years. And this year, the legislature passed very strong margins what's called the right to cure. What the right to cure means that before a consumer can sue a developer for a construction defect in a condo, they have to give that developer the opportunity to fix that defect, right? Pretty simple concept. As we've been talking to developers saying, what will get you to build condos more? And not just condos, but those median priced condos, right? Right now, we do see some condo building in the more luxury space. But as we all know, condos can be a really good first-time product. And this is what they've told us, is the right to cure is a game changer for them. So we're hoping that that's the case, and we're hoping that we're going to see more condo construction moving forward. In addition to that bill, there was also a bill that said that buildings of 12 units or less can build according to single-family regulations rather than commercial regulations. So that will also cut some costs from the production of smaller condo units. And I think those two bills work really well together, right? So all of these bills are great, but if you can't get a building permit, right, none of them help anything. We're really happy to report that there were 3 pretty significant permit reform bills that were passed. One of them having to do with SEPA, one of them having to do with design review standards. I think really the takeaway is it's going to make getting a permit, first of all, it's going to minimize the number of projects you need to do some SEPA for and other requirements for. It's going to make getting a permit easier, cheaper, faster. Really, really, really good news. A little bit more detail of that up on Washington Realtors website. So I think those are kind of the big bills I wanted to talk about. Again, hopefully you can see as we go through all of these bills, the legislature really stepped up on housing, and they really deserve our thanks for everything they did to make this the year of housing. Thank you for being a member of Washington Realtors.